You have data-driven resume builder for data analyst. You get that's what I actually want to talk about because this is my approach. Yeah. So let me tell you that I think the number of the common times that we saw were like about 2,000 over. I think about 2,000 plus. So the ones that were talking about BSc out of all the times were like 700. So it's still like 1/3, but they were the ones that appeared everywhere, like commonly most times, or let me say most seen in all the times that we saw in the job description and all. You understand? Fine. It doesn't mean everybody must have BSc. Now let me now help you with that. For somebody here, I know some of us are here, probably just had O level certificate. Some don't even have. I mean, the question is, for you to be in this room, you know how to use your devices. To be honest, you're a technical person. If you can use a mobile phone, you just need to apply yourself to it. Like I said, please don't leave this boot camp still saying, I'm not a tech person. I don't know how to handle this. Please just learn it. Be ready to do it. The thing is, don't try to make people solve problems for you. Get frustrated. Yes, come back. Try. Come back. That's how to solve problems. Nothing is too big for you to handle. You just have to patiently, even when you go through it and it's difficult, spend time with it, ask for help, try it again. Don't make people solve problems for me. Where am I going? If you know you are at that level where PSC is like a challenge, probably you couldn't finish for so many reasons. I don't know. What you can do is for you to stand out. That means you have to be outstanding. What do? You have to do extra work. Your portfolio, like you mentioned earlier, must be superb. You need to be a problem solver. Let me tell you that employers will only employ you if you can solve their problem. And that's the reason why they will give you the job, not because they think they want to pity anybody, to be honest. I mean, they have a problem, they're going to give you money to help them solve the problem. They won't be paying you just because they pity you. So the idea is if you can solve their problem, they won't care about your CV. Honestly, the issue of CV in Nigeria, Africa, and everything is just because of the fact that they want to use that to reduce the number of people that will apply. And then, I mean, when it comes to BSc and all those, I mean, certificates and certifications, that was why I learned in the Nigerian landscape that they still use that largely. It's not the same like everywhere in the world, right? What can you do? How can you prove it? And that's why you notice some guys drop out of school, especially in Silicon Valley and all those places. They go to Waterloo to go and drop out. And you wonder why are they doing that? Because school will sometimes not teach you what you need to actually practice to do the real job. Okay, you will learn some things there, maybe build networks, be exposed to staying focused on a particular thing for 4 years or 5 years to get done. But when it gets to the industry, you still need to pick up that skill on the job or outside on the street. You still need to pick up that skill in a specific boot camp programs like this, or by you trying things out yourself. So the idea is school, you going to school shouldn't stop you. Nothing can stop you if you don't stop yourself. So it has to be that you are pushing yourself. That's why I say you should use LinkedIn. Just think about it. People don't connect with you on LinkedIn because you have a certificate or because you have a degree. Why people come there to come and talk about that? When they see you are an innovator, you're a problem solver, you begin to attract people. People who needs the solution. Right there in this room right now, everybody has a solution to someone's problem. If you have been through something in life, your story is actually a solution to another person's problem right now because somebody wants to hear your story to know how you were able to navigate that part, that stage of your life. You have something you are good at that someone needs that answer right now. Someone needs solution to that. You just need to be able to solve, help them, showcase yourself, and they would pay you for it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So the same thing applies here. If you position to be a problem solver, nobody will say bring your CV. I mean, if you're applying to maybe formal jobs, oh, you go through the back door. That's what I'm saying. Like when they see your problem, would they say, how many times did you ask for a CV of the person that came to fix your plumbing machine? I mean, you understand my point? Who helped you to do basic things? Even your mechanic, did you ask for CV? Yes, you have Toyota stores that they can fix it properly, but you still prefer to go to the guy at the next door because he's good. And they say, have you gone to Wasiu's place? Wasiu Dagon is very good at doing his job. Did you ask for his CV? Because he is good at it. The only challenge is maybe they'll put them low and all, but that's why it can then. The only thing those guys need to learn is how to package themselves. That's why somebody will put them in a very big workshop and then the person will just start making a lot of money. The person is just the idea owner. The guys doing the jobs they're the professionals. Do you understand that? That's why we were talking about position of management the other time. You can even gather people to do the job and you won't be the one doing it. Why is it that it is common in our world that the guys who went to school are being employed by the ones who didn't go to school? You go to school so that you could be employed by the ones who didn't go. Think about it. So school has ever been the reason why we are stuck. It's just that okay, yes, we think it is just a mental let me say slavery or limitation. I'm not shading anybody. I've gone to school, yes, I know. I have the PhD, but I'm not saying shouldn't go, but that shouldn't stop anyone here, please. So don't allow that stop you. Talking about opportunities outside Nigeria. So this particular one that you see on my screen is just me also doing something similar, but in a different way, where I went through jobs and I went through like 10 job descriptions, this specifically to the UK anyway, to the UK market. And I got all this from LinkedIn. And this is talking about specific tools. Now, why that is talking about locations and some other things, some stuff that you need to put, transferable skills you need to put in your CV. This is talking about the specific tools. And this was what helped us to actually draft the program for this bootcamp, especially in the art skill part, which is the technical skill or the art skill. Yeah, so SQL is very important. You can see it weighs 66. That's like the weight of this, the market desire for SQL. The next one is Power BI, Lucas, and the likes. For visualization, weighs 54. When it comes to occurrences, if you can see my can, I think it's probably going to be very small. You can see it appeared in 9 places out of 10 jobs. Why Power BI? 6 places. We have analytical. So this one, analytical insights, problem solving, those are things they expect you to be able to put in your CV. You see the way they wrote it, you have to be excellent, analytical, and you have to be a problem solver. Do you understand? And I'm sure I can remember it was my wife that was asking me that what does it mean to be analytical? And I was like, if you can, some of us have tried this before. You place something somewhere, and then you notice by the time you are returning there, the thing has shifted, and you can tell somebody has moved this thing, and you start to think, who came home, who touched this thing, who was here, and you start to trace, and then you go to the kitchen, you realize that something has shifted again. What are you doing? You're analyzing the situation, the position of what you placed there, seeing. Sometimes you now trace the leg and see, oh, is it the cat? Is it the dog? Is it this? That's analyzing situations. For you to, if you can bring one and two together to form three, that's analytics. So everybody's analytical. Do you understand that? It's just for you to know what part of you, how do you, what do you pay attention to? How do you analyze stuff? How do you make, and then you can improve on that. You understand? So all those things are there for you to be a problem solver. And that's what we are trying to say. Be ready to solve problems. Be ready to push yourself. Be ready to put yourself out there. So SQL, you can see SQL. I will say something here, and I don't want to cause issues, but I need to let you know. After SQL, we have Excel, which weighs 42, and it appeared in 5 places. But again, most entry level requires SQL. Then in most jobs as outside analytics, they still use SQL. They will use, I'm sorry, I mean SQL, Excel. They still use Excel in fields outside data analytics. So be it finance, even in common places, they still want to use Excel. So it's a tool that you can use to communicate with people outside your field. That's why it's very, very important. Also, it synchronizes well with other tools like my SQL Server, my Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, and ETL. If you remember, if you watch the video and you practice the Power BI section, you see that the first thing we did was to extract data. So ETL means extract, transform, load. You might not be able to see my screen. So this one that weighs 34 is actually ETL, extract, transform, load. Meaning you extracted the data from the folder and in CSV, you loaded it into your Power Query in the Power BI, and then we were transforming. Transforming is trying to remove the errors, changing the rows, columns, and doing all sort of things just to put it in the right shape you want it to be. And then you loaded it into your Power BI interface so that you can start working on it. So this is just a simple representation of what ETL is all about. But it could be expanded and becomes bigger, bigger, and bigger. But at least so that once you put all these things in your CV, you don't think, "Ah, do I know what this is? I'm scared. I can't do all these things." And so I'm explaining to you that you can do everything written here. Now you can see Python weighs 27 and it's only appeared in 3 places. What this means is that why didn't we put it in this our curriculum? I'll tell you why. So with the 3 skills, all these four that we've mentioned ahead, like is it 4 or 5? Yeah, you being analytical, you can have it. You being insightful, you having this problem solving attitude or attribute, you have it already. We are learning Excel, we are learning SQL, we are learning Power BI, and ETL is something that will be continuously exposed to. With all those four skills, you are good to go. You are more than enough. To be honest, like I said, you have to push yourself. Okay, not every role require Python, and Python is not a real hard skill to learn. But how will it be if we are trying to teach you so many new things at the same time, and then we still want to teach you a new programming language? Many people are scared of it. If we have added Python, some will say, "This Python, I don't want programming." So I didn't put it there. Meanwhile, I have it in mind to actually teach people. Do you understand that now? But like I said, just with SQL alone, you can become a database administrator. You can actually manage databases. It could lead you to data engineering. Just with Power BI, you can become a business intelligence analyst, and that is all. Just that tool alone. Power BI is Excel on steroid, like our tutor said the other time. So with Power BI, you can do everything. You don't even need to go to Excel. Just use Power BI to transform, load your data, and then show the insight. Okay. So by the time you combine the first three skills, you are good to go. By the time you add Excel to it, you are super good to go. By the time you had it here, you're super, super good to go. So you don't really need to learn all the skills, all the tools before you start working with it or applying. You get? So people want to learn all the tools. No, you're only deceiving yourself and delaying yourself because you don't even know what you'll be faced with. I asked him to come and show us this so that you have a replica of what it is in the industry. They will employ you to do A. Trust me, you'll be doing B, C, and D. So if you think you can learn all the skills before you start working, so you're just delaying yourself. So just get in and go and see what is there. Then you find a solution to it when you get there. That's the way it is. You can't know everything you need to know before you start. There's no way. You get there that even as a done, I mean, after spending 15, 20 years of experience in the field, unless you are not upskilling, unless you are not going for new challenges, there will always be things you can't do because technology is advancing every day. So you have to upskill. But there's something you have not been doing before that you need to learn. That said, we in the industry, see the data in the industry is actually different from the data on the research field. I'll be honest with you. So many times we use hypothetical data. Nigeria, for example, in the Nigeria don't have data set like real data set. We do, but so the data set from the industry is quite different from. We are working on real problems. We are working on real life data set of people, of businesses. So number one, they are larger, they are more real, we are more intentional, and we are trying to solve a problem. So we are trying to apply the result of our analysis immediately to something. I mean, if you check, I have how many publications in my name, maybe 18 or so. How many of times have people I've seen okay over 4,500 what's it called now citations, but how many times people really take those information to use for real life problems? It's only my current role that we go online to get data and then or get papers, all these publications, then we try to go through it, read, and then apply it to problems. You understand? In the UK. But how many times I worked on Ebola, I worked on COVID-19. How many times did anybody ask me to come and apply to Nigerian problem? Even if I tried to do that in the past. Do you get my problem, my thing? Yeah. So the academic landscape is actually quite different, but you have transferable skills. That said, I want us to work on somebody's CV. Back to sharing key element of a strong CV. I would be using. I think different countries have different CV formats, but I want to believe that in the field we perhaps would have generic CVs depending on where you lie in the what's it called in the whole thing. That is, if you are an entry level person, you're just coming in maybe from the school, university, and then you're trying to go into the industry. If you are on it's mid level, senior level, and whatever level, right? So there are specific things they will focus on when it comes to your CV. So, but in terms of maybe the entry level and the associates, now this is what I want to say to people. Don't go into the industry with you trying to act like they need to pity you. Nobody will give you a job because you look like you need help. They're not employing you because you need help. They're employing you because they need help. Believe me, though employers will act like they're doing you a favor, but they won't give you the job in the real sense if you can't solve the problem, if they don't see you as a good addition, if they don't see you as a solution or you worth the money they want to pay you to do the job. So if you go to the market and you build your CV with like, hey, please, I just finished school. I'm looking for a role that can allow me practice. I'm willing to utilize my skill, all those stuff that we write in our CV. I just laugh. The problem is not as if they don't have compassion, but when we have other people that are competing with you who are very sure of what they want to do. They are telling you they have 3 years of experience. In fact, it didn't mention it that that particular CV says you must have at least 2 to 3 years of experience. They research commonly for you to land a role, and you begin to wonder, but I'm just finishing school. In fact, I've not even been in analytics field, though I've been working in the industry for a while. So how do I get 3 years of experience out and straight out of school? So this is what we're going to show you how you can package yourself. You see, the analytic skills and data analysis is not limited to you working, you understand, in the industry as a data analyst. Like I said, you've been using these skills since forever. You don't know it. So you might need to start thinking about what you've done in the past, okay, for you to get there. So the key element of a strong CV, when we start from the top, we look at your name, and so many times, somewhere around that, we used to have, we are supposed to have maybe like a link to your portfolio. You mentioned portfolio the other time, and maybe your LinkedIn page somewhere attached to your CV. Now, let me go to the other part that is very important. So, your name, you don't need your location per se. I mean, you can use, maybe you can say UK or something, Nigeria, or if you're applying for a foreign job, I think we trashed out that last week, that please don't put Nigeria there. You can write the name of the company or the organization you worked. Don't put Nigeria, don't put South Africa if you don't want, you understand, them to start to think your experience is actually strong in that area or in this particular country than where you're applying to. So your summary, CV usually have professional summary by the name professional summary. So I think I want to run through this and show you what I'm saying. Professional summary is summarizing everything in your CV, your experiences, your what's it called, your academics, your certifications, your impact and achievements into 6 lines maximum. So 5 lines is okay, 4 lines fine. That's what professional summary is all about. Then tailoring your CV to data analytics things, jobs. The idea is this, that you might have been working in a particular role and maybe you're like an operation officer before. But somewhere in that operations that you're doing, you use your analytical skills. You don't even know until you join this class and you start to see that, oh, I've been doing something like this, but not using Excel for it. I've been using another tool entirely, bro. That's what they are talking about. You have to change that role to something like operation analytics. You tweak the name. It's not like you're lying. The only thing is that the name did not reflect what you're doing. So what you're trying to do is you want to show them track record of you working in that area. So you have to tailor your CV, everything. Then your role, you have to bring out the keywords. We mentioned some of the words that are frequently needed or we need to see in your CV. Talking about management, analytics, and all, SQL, how you use that, so problem solving. You need to be able to use all those stuffs. How you do analyze this, generated this, built this, business this, generated in insights, intelligence. Those words are words you want to put in your CV. Okay, so that's the idea of you tailoring your analytics, I mean your CV for data analytics role. You have to tailor everything to an extent. Okay, the common mistake to avoid, talking about formatting your CV, the format, your CV format. I'll talk about all these colorful CVs. I don't use that. Just use black and white plain CV that can show everything. Sometimes all these designs don't matter unless you are going for graphic design role. And there are even portfolios that can show if you are good again. So if you want to show us your skills, not with your CV, because there's so many things that could happen. Imagine you beautified your CV and the person who is trying to read it is struggling after she has spent the whole day in the traffic or tired already. And you're like, oh, what's all this one? Please just take this CV away. You understand my point here? So you don't want to shoot yourself in the leg by just trying to design your CV unnecessarily, doing some formatting that is not quite okay. Plain black and white. You understand? Also, don't put the most important things on your CV down the list. In the UK here, I confirmed again, and I think it's general so that it's everywhere that recruiters, especially if they are the roles, the people applying to the roles are so much. They spend 6 seconds to 7 seconds looking at CVs, and you're like, how come? I didn't believe this when my coach told me then, but I confirmed from a recruiter, and she said they spent 7 minutes. Somebody said six. So what's the difference? And I'm like, how? How can you see somebody's CV just in 6 seconds and you know? They said because there are things they are looking out for. Once they didn't see at a glance, I'm sorry, they pass it, they move on to the next CV. You get, so you don't want to put what is important in that particular job requirement down or somewhere hidden. Why in Nigeria we like to put in our degrees because you can see it's a different landscape. Probably your degree will come first. You show that you have some, you've gone to school, you've done all these things. But if you don't have it, you want to push up your skills, your technical skills, your soft skills. You want to put on your experience and your experiences, the achievements you have made in those particular roles. So depending on what you have as your strong point, you want to push it up. But here, what we do is to put experience after technical skills. So we have like the first is your name, your portfolio, maybe your Gmail, that's fine. Your professional summary. The next is your technical skills, the SQL, the Excel, the Power BI, and all those things, so that they know you have them. Then the next is your soft skills, the analytical communication, presentation, reporting, and all those stuff. You want to put it there. Then the next one is you're relaying your experiences chronologically as following the latest one to the one you've done long ago. And again, you don't need to put all your experiences in your CV. What you can do again, if you have gaps in your CV, you need to be able to explain it. That is so years from so year I wasn't working. Why? So for you to avoid all those stories, you might need to cover up a lot of things in your CV, like extend one job so that it can cover that particular place. Here, what they do is to ask for references from your former employers, but not everybody. They will ask from like the last two or even last one. So the previous one, you can still do a lot. And they don't even ask, oh, did this person work for in your place for this length of time? There's a way they put that the what they are trying to confirm is not really what you think they are looking for when they ask for references from your employer. I think we'll get to that because there's a lot to talk about there. Live review of participants. So this is it. So but quickly, I would love to talk about that. This is where I try to tend to want to help people to be able to gain that confidence they have in building the right CV that will attract the right employer. People don't know how much they've done. Let me see if I can have my old CV there. Uh, yeah, okay, good to go. So I want to bring up your CV. Is online. Please, I would say you should unmute yourself very soon so that I want to dissect your CV for like the next few minutes, and then I think I told you already, so I believe I'm permitted to do that. So you can, it's just for you, for your help at the end of the day, so you can see for people who don't know what to write in their CVs as well. Good. So enable editing. Yeah. So s- if you can unmute your mic, Samuel Idowu. Yeah. So as we were saying the other time, you don't need like so much information in terms of your street address, your this. I don't know, but again, it's probably too much. Maybe if they need this information, that's the way it works here. If they need extra information, then that'll be sent to you. Okay, because the idea is there are some things you should keep away until when it's getting serious. Fine, your employer might need to know your place, but do they really come to your house? But before that means that's your potential employer. Like you're sure that something is going on here in a conversation. So just have your name, remove the whole of the address, and just have maybe Kwara State and Nigeria, Kwara State. Your mobile number, that's fine. Your email, the formatting is just an issue. So you need to really correct that. And it's taking up spaces. You want to ensure that your CV doesn't go beyond, as I can see on my screen, this CV is on 4 pages. When you're not like applying for a managerial position. So ideally, we try our best to make sure our CV is not going beyond 1 page. But I've tried it several times. My CV is not fitting in. I mean, a resume, yes, you can probably do it, but if you have a lot to offer and then they are applying for a role that requires so much information, you might not be able to put your CV on just 2 pages. I mean, on just 1 page. So you want to do like 2 pages maximum. But if your CV is still okay to stay on 1 page, definitely. So your formatting, it has to be clear, readable, and all. Okay. Now, you see, as much as possible, you might want to avoid backgrounds that don't really relate to the role. Yeah, geophysics, yeah, it shows you have the mathematical skills, analytical skills. That's fine, but imagine you had a background in Yoruba. You don't want to say that, in English, yes, maybe they will talk about your communication skill, but probably it's not like a strong point because in the analytics field entirely, they usually talk about mathematics, STEM fields majorly. You understand, science, technology, or whatever it is, engineering and mathematics in it. So you want to talk about all these other fields that are more of the mathematics, the analytics, the yes, before you talk about fields that are not in that field, which geophysics is not too far away. Yeah, so you see, you don't want to go to in depth, like into some things that are not related to the role you're applying to. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at it thoroughly. Yeah, pushing your skills here, but if you look at this now, it's more than 4 or 5 lines already. So you want to reduce it and maybe stop at yeah. So you find a way. How do you do it? Go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to help you summarize it. It will summarize it and even give you a good, I mean a better professional summary. You understand? So that is you want to reduce that. That would save space. So I gave him a format. If I send you the initial format, it wasn't like this. So this is even better. Pushing your technical skills. Now yes, these are your technical skills. What about them putting them in a side by side, maybe even three on a row? And the thing is, you have a very large font. You can reduce it to like 11. I think 10 to 12 is usually like the common range. So you want to have a uniform font size. I mean, so you probably want to reduce and take this Power BI, let it come beside Microsoft. You can have three of these tools on the same line, so you save enough space. By the time you arrange them on maybe on 3 lines and 3 columns. You just have 3 rows and 3 columns. You just save a lot of spaces, yeah. So you want to reduce that. I mean, not don't just leave unnecessary spaces on your CV. Your soft skills, yes. Make sure those soft skills are related to the roles you're applying to. And like I said, many of us we are not starting blank. We have transferable skills from what we've been doing before. You've been communicating well. You're a strong team player. You know, you have the organization skills. You have a lot. You are good with reporting. It's very necessary in this field because once you perform your analysis, you need to be able to communicate your skills. So you have to draft reports. Okay. That said, your interest. Well, we stop using interest because at the end of the day we should be interested in what you are doing. I mean, you can't tell me you are a data analyst and you're not interested in anything because you already have project management in part of your soft skills. So I think this will save space. I don't usually use interest. Maybe it could go down. Yeah, if you want to use it, let it go to the bottom. That's where I was talking about. You don't want to put what I mean the most important stuffs up and then you leave I mean down and then you leave what is important. So try to make sure that what you want to put here first attracts your recruiter. So your potential employer will see that and wants to see you or meet you immediately. You can see the formatting also. The bullet points here are not on the same side, they are not straight. You understand? So you want to balance them and make sure that they are all uniform. Just like the previous one too, the bullet points, make sure that your bullet points are uniform. Also, the November here should probably go to the side and so that you can have enough spaces here. Then see, I've seen a lot of series, and this one, First Bank, Geography, and all. See, I know jazz can explain stuff. They have good communication skills. They've built that over the years in their current role. But again, this is what I was saying that you sometimes want to use skills. I know it covers your NYC days, geography teacher. It might not really relate to data analytics. So if you put it there, let's hope that you have another role that can show that you have strong analytical skills and you've been in that field for a while, especially if you are trying to claim years of experience. So you'd be better off to put the volunteering role you are doing in your current church, in your current community, in you understand, in this particular one. Now, when they say experiences, it doesn't have to be that you were paid for it. Meaning that, I mean, they say experience. Do you have the experience of using this particular tool, or do you have the experience of working, doing this kind of analysis, or analyzing data generally? It doesn't have to be paid experiences. They didn't say paid experiences. I mean, they didn't pay for it. Even if the person did not pay money, they probably paid thank you. That's an experience you can put in your CV. So start to think outside the box and like, okay, I wasn't officially employed, but was I performing such role? Maybe that would make more sense to be in my CV than putting maybe geography teacher and all these places. And again, your CV should be of not responsibilities alone. You don't want to appear as a doer. Promoting and selling this, you did something. Collecting and analyzing, that's your responsibility. But the question is, a lot of people have this responsibility. That's why they employed you in any way. But the question is, what makes you stand out? Why would somebody else want you to be in that role? It has to be because of your achievement. What did you achieve while you are in that role? Okay, so your responsibilities alone is not what we want to see, but we want to see your achievement. That's why we don't want to see you as a doer. You want to present yourself as an achiever. Think about that every time you are building your CV. You see, promoting, you say you promoted first money product services to, and you gained maybe 100% of the customers or the potential customers before you joined in the community, or you increased the product sales to like by 90%. You gained 1,000 new, what's it called, products or users through your promotion. And then that means it increased from maybe 100, you took it from 100 to 900. That's an achievement. That's why they want to see you. You get, so not just by promoting and selling. Yes, you promoted and sold. Okay. What did we gain? Because you can do that and the company is still on the same level. Your role didn't solve any problem for us. You collected and analyzed customer data for decision making. Yes. What did those decisions lead to? Provided support and guidance. Yes. Did it increase customer retention and customer turnover? That means your customer, were they coming or did they go away even though you provided support? Maybe your support wasn't solid enough. And that guidance, what did it lead to? Maybe after you provided support to a particular customer, it generated more or they invited three or four of their friends. And before you knew it, your customer base in that particular role, in your office, in the department you handle increased. Environmental research and competitor analysis, which led to you making better decisions about products to offer, and that also increased profits. I'm reading all those bullet points and I'm telling you what you should add to it. Identifying and analyzing opportunities for business growth. Okay, because I said something about your in your common church now. You might have actually handled the position, maybe in the choir, you were the coordinator, and you're like, okay, something you could be like a group coordinator or so that could show your analytical skills. But you probably then go to ChatGPT and ask, how can I tailor this role to reflect something related to analytics? If you have used maybe data collector in that your church role and say data collector, and you now went further to explain that your data collection was not just about collecting data, you used it for something. That one will even be better than putting. Also, if in your current your role as a geography teacher, you analyzing student data. You could say you worked as a geography teacher and then as also as the school analytics lead or something like that. So you analyze the result of the student at the same time provided insight into how they can improve their stuff. You are talking about when you say tutoring students in the field of geography, how does it relate to data analytics? Think about it. Conducting extra lesson for students, it doesn't relate. So this is not me shading you here. Get it? I'm saying this because everybody can see that you can actually do better by you thinking as a data analyst. What would think about yourself as the employer? Why would I employ this person? You say you're just finishing from school or just left, doesn't matter. You could have applied those skills, they're unknown to you. So I'm making you think, yes, Independent National Electoral Commission, what did you do? Ad hoc staff. No. You could put something like ad hoc analytic staff. You're shooking something in between because perhaps you'll be analyzing the results, counting and all. Or this particular role is a massive one that you can use to show your skills as you've been analyzing data. So by the time you count now from 2019 to 2024, you have like 3 or 4 years of experience already. That's how to see it. Do you get that? Geophysics, engineering, all those things are like sweet stuff that could show that you are within that STEM field. But what have you done? Good. You talked about participated in geophysical data acquisition, processing, and interpretation. What did it lead to? So make sure you don't write responsibility alone. Try to think of what that result, the results you got, what it led to. Even if it was potential, you didn't finish the project or they did not use it on a large landscape, you still want to try to imagine what result that could have brought if they have applied it. And that's what you put there. That said, we have too much spaces. So by the time you make the adjustment to your CV, you probably have everything in 1 page or 2 pages. Your education is down here. I know Nigeria, like I said, we put our education forward, but if you don't have a strong education to put there, maybe you shouldn't put it, just put it at the back. Anyway, we are not, I mean, at the end of the day, where the world is going, we shouldn't be interested in your whatever you're studying is cool. We're interested in what problem you can solve for us. I know some people will have exceptions. Maybe some people, some CVS parts are in the room and they're like, what was this guy talking about? Okay, what if your most recent job doesn't have any correlation with the job you are applying for? Yeah, that was why I said you need to find something else you are doing, or you can find a way to tailor it. To be honest, analytical skills are being used everywhere because it has to relate. The truth, you can't leave a job that is not relating. You, or if it doesn't relate, you want to show us what you have done, maybe your boot camps. You can use your boot camp as an internship. That's why I said see this particular boot camp as a form of internship. So that will be your latest role. So you can't just move from a role that doesn't relate. How then do you show us you have the skills? How then do we show, if you're telling us you are just coming from a boot camp, then how can we attest to the fact that you know this thing? Unless they just want to use you for volunteering, then go for volunteering roles. Start using the skills right now before you finish this boot camp so that once you're applying for jobs, you have experience to put in your CV. I usually quite guide against having two CVs because you can't have two LinkedIn pages. If you're really applying for jobs and you want LinkedIn to support you as in your application, like you want to use LinkedIn as another place, having to I know a lot of us are in this room that I can do a lot of things. See, the danger of that is that you won't be able to focus. Because while you're applying, what you'll be doing is upskilling, applying, getting to know what you need to correct every day. So you are kind of improving your CV, your profile, iterating, iteration over iteration, and then you are getting result and you are getting better, you are getting closer. I sent some testimonials to the group yesterday. When I started working with these people, they didn't have those things before. And it didn't just start immediately. Trust me, I will be a deceiver to tell you when I work on your CV and your resume and your interviewing skills, you will land a role immediately. I don't know. It all depends on where you are, how far you are on the journey, and how much of yourself you are even pushing out there. It could take another 6 months for you to get to that zone where you begin to see invites and you are like very confident of your skills. Before you start to get the invite, before you start to think you can apply to any roles, you don't care because you can do it. You get so every time you are improving on that. Now, if imagine now doing it on two, three jobs at the same time, master of none. Because see, the way you are speaking will reflect how much you know. Because you'll be confident, you will know these things in your head. I'm being honest with you. I mean, that's like very. He did it. It wasn't like they gave it to him to go and present. Do you understand it? So recruiters can tell when you have done something just by you speaking about it. So you want to be able to you want to spend time in that flow so much that you know that I know this thing. Once they ask me any question, I can answer, even when you didn't prepare. So having two CVs, yes, maybe you can, but I see there is a synergy between M365 support and data. And it's not like super, but I think we can synergize it. Yes. At the same time, if you want to have two CVs, I don't know which one you put on LinkedIn. I don't know what because if you're on LinkedIn also and you are putting like your profile says you can do four things. You have worked as a this, you have worked as a that, come on, is there no if there's no synergy, then it will work against you. Because the question is, how can I trust you that you're consistent? Yeah, I just transitioned. Yes. Now, since the time you transitioned, has there been consistency, or you transitioned last year from a virtual assistant, then from there you move back to a teller, then you move back to, you understand what I'm trying to say? There has to be correlation. So you have to balance that up. Okay, so that said, for someone who has been in the education sector for a long while and dedicates to and decide to trans how does it a lot? Yes, in that your field, you have been analyzing your student results. If you are in the maybe on the higher level in the universities, you have been doing researches, you want to tailor that and say you've been using tools. Even if you have used XPSS and all those things before, yes, they are analytical tools. It's just that they are not being used in the industry as much as they use Excel, Power BI. Yes, they still use SPSS and all sort of things, but they are like getting outdated and pushing them out gradually. So where am I going? You've been analyzing your student result. You've been using that skill. You might have been functioning in two roles. Maybe you are the HOD in that your issue, the head of department, you could have been using that skill. Bring it under it. You can serve two functions. So let them know that even though you were a teacher and you have transferable skills, you are good at explaining things. One very good skill for you to need as you need as a data professional is that communication skill. You need to be able to communicate your insight in the best of ways to your stakeholders. That's why they will accept it. So think about breaking it down. So if you can explain something to a 10-year-old, 15-year-old, 5-year-old, 10, 5 years, you can really do a lot of things in the analytics field. We need you. So it doesn't have to be related. A lawyer can become a data analyst because you are logical. You can see in between the lines and get to understand, put one or two together. You are a detective. So you know how things work. So that skill is actually very needed. You just need to show how you have been using it. So what about the fresh graduates with no experience? Don't say no experience. You have experience. That's what I'm still saying here now, that you've been doing something in your research in school. A lady came to me, my sister is in 400 level, nutrition and diet, whatever. That's what she's studying. I'm like, go and do a project analyzing what people eat, why they go for exercises or gyms, what is the result of those things. Also, you've been carrying out researches, your assignments, all those things are things you can talk about. Also, you've been functioning in smaller groups outside your school activities. You've gone for IT. If you didn't go for, you have to start pushing out yourself now. That's the idea. Fresh graduate, you must have been doing something in analysis, or you should start doing. But again, you can't say you finished school and there was nothing. So don't say no experience. Like I said, it doesn't have to be paid experience. So are you saying to capture the recruiter is better to put our profile, soft skills, personal qualities before the job? Profile, yes, summary. Your profile summary is the first thing after your name because it summarizes everything in your profile. That's why later will show us how to write profile summary. It has to capture your strong achievements because recruiters might not go beyond that, and that's what will make them stay glued or drop your CV. That's why they call it summary. It summarizes everything in your CV just in 5 lines. That's why they want it up. They don't want to stress themselves by going down, down, down to check for it. You have to help them bring it out, make it stand out. When I say you should put achievement, those achievements have to be in strong metric. There has to be in numbers or percentages. If you see somebody's CV, you easily see numbers before you see the words. You see percentages before you say another thing. So those things stand out in your CV. So you need to be able to put them there, also in your professional summary, and then followed by your technical skills, your soft skills, your experiences, and then your education certification should probably down. But if it's a role that is requiring that certification as one strong one, then you need to put it in your professional summary. A certified this and this, who are or is a professional this and this, an expert this, who has a certificate in. Do you understand? That's something you need in your CV so that they can see what they are looking for. Thank you very much. You can still drop your questions on the main group, in your smaller groups. I think I've really tried my best to break this down. We still have time to, do more of this later. And then just go and improve on your CV. And we'll have the CV review section. We can't review everybody's CV, definitely. But I believe with the insights shared already, you can really do a lot. Thank you very much.